Bienvenidos, amigos, and welcome back to another episode of the More Live Diaries podcast.
Coming to you from super hot and humid Puerto Vallarta.
¡Qué calor, qué calor! Oh, oh.
Next reggaeton star.
And I have my sweat rag, which I just keep on me at all times, inside and outside the house. And Kathleen's keeping her distance from me.
I can just feel the heat radiating off of him. And then our arms touch and his
I'm
arms
like, I'm
sweaty.
10 degrees Celsius hotter than whatever it is outside. So, yeah, guys, welcome back to another episode of More Live Diaries. And for those that don't know, this is a podcast, so there will be no B-roll. It's just a discussion between Kathleen and I, and we'll be catching you guys up today on what's been going on in our lives and also answering a whole bunch of questions that we've gotten from you guys, the viewers. So if you have any questions that you want us to touch on the podcast, please hit the comment section down below and we'll happily answer them on a future podcast.
What is More Life Diaries? Reflections of the past. Life in the moment. Manifestations of the future. This is our journey. The More Life Diaries podcast.
So, first topic is what has been going on with us as of late.
What has been going on? It has been, I think we've said this the last 3 podcasts, but it is so hot here. We've been sweating our butts off. It is at least raining now in the most evenings, and that provides some temporary relief. But it's hot. It's really hot. Also, Callie, our youngest, started daycare. I think this is his third week.
Third week, yeah.
And it's going well. There was a lot of crying the first week. He was often there for half days. But now, this morning, when we dropped him off, he didn't even look back. He just waltzed in.
Yeah, just walks in, doesn't look back at us. And then he's so happy when we pick him up, too. You could tell he had a really good day.
Yeah, he's excited to he doesn't tell us because he can't yet, but he's excited. So that's going well. It frees up a lot of time for us to do work, to film things without carrying the kids. So yeah, I miss him so much right now. But also it's good. It's a needed little break from each other.
And just talking a little bit more about rainy season here. So we are at the beginning of rainy season still. It's been almost 3 weeks. And from what we've heard, it's unusually hot and it hasn't even been raining that much. So at least the rain in the evening time provides a moment of cool air. So we're able to open up our doors, get a nice cool breeze going
Get a
through.
nice sleep.
But if it doesn't rain, so it hasn't been raining every day, it is extra hot. So it gets very humid, very sticky, and
it's the space here.
Tolerable, but very, very hot. So yesterday it didn't rain. Today is extremely hot, even with the fans running, even with the AC running in the kids' room. Yesterday was still very hot. It's not enough.
It's only good if you don't move at all. Nobody moves. Yeah, it is really humid. I think that's really what gets you. Even people who are coming here from Texas, Florida have been saying that it is really hot. I think we had the benefit of kind of gradually getting here. Yeah. Slowly, reaching this temperature. But I can imagine if you were coming from, Canada, Northern United States, even in the summertime and arriving into this weather, it will hit you. The air is really heavy. The breeze is warm. It's not even a relieving breeze most of the time. It's just hits you.
We're hoping when winter rolls around, we can pull out our puffer jackets like Mexicans that we've seen last winter and layer up and be comfortable.
Yeah, when they would ask us if we were cold or if a baby was cold at 24 degrees Celsius, I was like, how would it be cold? It's 24.
Yeah. And we arrived in November. So we left Toronto when it was starting to really cool off. And we had sold all of our winter stuff. So we were getting pretty cold out there. So crossing here to Mexico was just like summertime already. So even wearing a long sleeve shirt or anything somewhat thick in material was like way too hot.
Another funny thing about summer and rainy season is that it's also soup season here. They always have soup. They're big on their caldos. It's like a thing, but now it's like the time to have soup. And I just find that kind of funny and weird that
I guess
you're
it's like,
sweating into your soup.
if your drink is hotter than your environment, then it cools your like body off.
I don't know. Mexicans, explain it to me. I don't get it.
Well,
I mean, the soups are good. Like I get the desire to eat these soups. They're delicious, but I just want to have like paletas and ice cream all day.
It's kind of like when we lived in Chile too. After a long, like hot beach day, people are drinking mate, the same thing in like Argentina. So they have their warm tea. They're sitting on the beach. And it was always weird to us, but it also does make sense since like the sun goes down, it does cool off a little bit. But I'm like, I'm not craving like a hot tea or a hot coffee on the beach.
Yeah.
Always like a weird thing to us. But yeah, otherwise, besides sweating a lot. So it is really hot, but honestly, it would be a nice time to come here. Even if you are visiting for a week or 2 weeks, like the city is nice and quiet for the most part. It's just like it rains at night or very early mornings. We haven't really had rain like throughout the day. It's still nice and sunny, so you'll definitely enjoy your time here if you do plan on just coming to visit in the summertime or rainy season. But it is just very, very hot. So if that's what you're looking for, it's the place to be right now.
Yeah, if you're coming to a resort, a place with a pool, and you're close to the beach, I don't think you'll have that hard of a time. If you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb with a pool, with air conditioning, you're near the ocean, it won't be a big concern for you. You have ways to cool down. I think, if we continue living here, I might want to invest in like an ice bath. What do you think?
Yeah, a nice bath. A nice house. Kathleen and I were talking the other day, and like, that's like one of the things that we don't like about living in our specific apartment is, and we mentioned this during our house tour videos, is like the furniture is not at all comfortable. So there's no way for us to get comfy or cozy, or like where we work is not comfortable. Where we sleep is not comfortable. And it's just like the furniture is just not comfortable. So it would be nice to eventually move into our own place and buy our own furniture. And that's kind of where we were at in Toronto. Like we bought our place and our goal was to make our house as comfortable as possible. So every corner in our old house in Toronto was comfortable. Yeah. Like it was cozy vibes. Cozy city. Yeah. On the balcony was nice and cozy. Like everywhere you could just lay down and be comfortable and enjoy yourself. Whereas here, the furniture really does suck and it's really hot on top of that. So it's just difficult to kind of settle in and get comfortable here. Despite us like loving it, right? We wouldn't necessarily change a thing. Like I think part of the experience was to break the comfort cycle that we were living in Toronto. So like just work and life and focus in on what you want in life and, reach for your goals and work towards them. So I think this is part of it.
I guess. Well, now I know
like the sweat.
That we broke all the comfort. I like a comfortable house and I'm ready to, step up and get some comfortable furniture.
Well, when we get those things, we will appreciate them a lot more. And we will know also like what we actually do need to be comfortable and like be happy, even though we're happy now. Like, that extra level of comfort is just another step. It's just another thing to work towards. Yeah. So everything in this house is uncomfortable, which sucks because like if it was our own, I think that we would buy new furniture, we would invest in some AC, and we would kind of switch things up a little bit because the place is sick. But unfortunately, just renting here isn't comfortable.
Yeah, it's just not. It is not comfortable. We've said it a million times. I feel like
we're really seeking comfort.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just another factor to consider. Like if you are here looking for an apartment, make sure you do look at the furniture being one of them. If they do have AC being another. It's funny because like we often complain to each other that it is really hot. The kids have never complained that it's been hot.
I don't think they just sweat.
They're just like,
Bassie still wears long sleeves.
it's just normal to them. Bassie wears long sleeves to sleep. Like he prefers long sleeves with no blankets. And yeah, it's just something that's interesting. Like they've never, despite them sweating, they've never complained about being hot.
In Bassie's drawing class, the room is air conditioned and he does complain that he gets too cold. There was somewhere else that was air conditioned and he complained of it being too cold. So he has lost his Canadian.
Yeah. So it's interesting, like the kids adapt so much better than us as adults to most situations here, I'd say. Like they don't, like our oldest is old enough to understand like the differences and to, you know, voice when he's too hot or he's uncomfortable. And like he's never complained about anything, which is great. Anything else going on in our lives?
Nope, I think that's it.
Yeah. So overall, the kids being in school, now it's like summer camp that they're in. It frees up a lot of time for us to put videos for you guys together. So we got some really interesting videos, and we sometimes take some of your questions and we'll turn them into videos as well. So a question that we've been receiving quite often, basically since we moved here, is like, what did we pack to come here? So we drove from Toronto all the way to Puerto Vallarta, and we had one car to pack all of our belongings in. So we have an SUV. We bought a Thule on top, so a cargo space to put on top. We're like, we're going to fill it up as much as possible. Otherwise, we're going to store a little bit of stuff for when the kids grow and stuff, and then we're going to sell a whole bunch of stuff. So we're planning on making a very specific video and show you guys exactly what we packed, take you guys into our closets and show you kind of like the behind the scenes type of stuff. But do you want to touch on quickly like what we packed? What are the important things to bring?
Yeah. So what we packed, I think we focused because we thought our son is 5 years old. It's going to be a big change for him. We wanted him to be comfortable. We really prioritized that adjustment for him. We brought a lot of the stuff from home, his toys, his bed sheets, his stuffies, those types of things, so that to kind of ease a transition for him. So that was a big focus for us. Obviously, we brought, clothes for mostly summer, a little bit of long sleeves for everybody, comfortable shoes. We researched what we could get here and we couldn't. So also just thinking ahead, we brought a lot of clothes, as Mark mentioned, for the kids to grow into. So we didn't have to worry about shopping when we got here and all of that kind of stuff. What else did we bring?
Yeah, I think that's basically it. We brought like a few kitchenware items. So we had bought in Toronto like a new Ninja blender, which we brought here.
And we use that a lot.
Which we use a lot of. We brought our juicer, which we've never used here because we're juicing a lot in Toronto as well. So we might start juicing again too.
So it's important to mention too that the outlets here are the same as in Canada and United States. So if you have any electronics, you can bring them without the converter. Medicine, a lot of people ask about bringing medications. We weren't on any medication, so it wasn't really a priority for us. And in terms of any sort of like little things that you might want if you get a cold, they do have all of those things here, and they're actually quite easy
Steroids.
Yes, you can get them very easily without a like prescription here, and there's so many pharmacies. Whatever you need, whatever your kids need, it's very easy to get them. They also have a lot of natural remedies as well. So I wouldn't, unless you have specific things that you need for a specific health condition, worry about bulk bringing anything, unless there's like you really have a preference for a certain brand. But from what I've seen, like the stores carry them. It's easy to get an appointment with either the walk-in or find like a pediatrician. That was a pretty smooth process for us. So I wouldn't worry about overpacking for that. What I would say, like we did bring, is a lot of supplements, vitamins. Those ones I haven't actually seen. And for me, like I like to do a little bit of research on the product. And so we just brought what we had, and we'll figure that out when we need to re-up, I guess.
Yeah. And goal when we're packing is to buy as little once we get here as possible. And yeah, so we packed a lot of clothes. Like we didn't want to spend money buying clothes when we had so much clothes back home.
Well, we didn't buy it. I didn't bring anything.
Yeah, we have some clothes for the kids to grow into back home as well. So that's something that when we do go back to Canada, we'll end up bringing here. A lot of kids' toys. So a couple of suitcases with just their toys that they're used to playing with. And again, we didn't really want to buy toys here.
And sorry, to quickly go over just in terms of like, do I bring it? Do I buy it there? If you are a larger size person, like Mark's 6 foot, if you're taller, bigger feet, whatever, whether you're a man or a woman, you might have a harder time finding sizes here. For kids' toys, a lot of the things I've been hearing from other parents is that they don't really like the kids' toy selection here. It's a lot
more limited.
It is limited, especially if you're coming from the States. I find like the kids' toy sections in the States is just wild. But if you are looking for like Montessori toys, like wooden, really nice toys like that, you can't find it here very easily. So if you have like items like that, like the Melissa and Doug stuff or the Love Very or the nice stuff, bring it. You can obviously sell it to other parents here when they're done with it, because it's in demand. Yeah. Hot Wheels, Barbie, they have all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the more educational stuff.
Otherwise, like besides toys, which are very limited, you have the convenience of everything here. You have a Costco, you have a Walmart, you have markets, used clothes. So you can still find everything. Basically, if you go to the mall and you go to like an H&M here, the prices are the exact same as in the States or Canada. Mm-hmm. So in comparison to the cost of living, it does make it quite expensive if you're living and earning locally, for example. So it's not really worth it. The local markets where you get like secondhand goods are also more expensive than what you'd find secondhand in the United States or Canada. So overall, buying, electronics, clothes is a little bit more expensive here, or the same or a little bit more expensive here. So if you already have it, bring it with you if you have the room. That'll keep you from having to spend, more money on something that you already have.
And Puerto Vallarta specific, this is for the ladies. Bring your makeup. I lost my makeup bag on the way here. Very sad about it. They have a Sephora in Guadalajara. They don't have one here. They have a MAC. I'm trying to figure out and test different Mexican brand makeups and stuff like that as we go. But so far, nothing great.
Shoes, for those who like shoes as well, their selection here is limited and or bootleg. So just go to the outlet in Canada or the United States, pick up some nice walking shoes, some nice sandals, and you'll thank me later for that.
And again, this is Puerto Vallarta specific. I'm sure if you go to Guadalajara, I know they have a lot of the same stores as you would find in the States and Canada. So the selection is more. Maybe one day we'll do a shopping trip when we can.
Yeah, like big cities is a big city. Yeah. You'll have all the shopping that you need there. Again, the prices are comparable to United States or Canada. Mm-hmm. I find that there's not that many discounts here. There's probably outlet stores somewhere around Guadalajara. There's none here in PV. So you're basically paying the same price for any goods or more expensive for electronics. Yeah, so we'll do an in-depth episode on that and on tips and tricks when it comes to packing if you're traveling or planning on moving here.
And we'll also go over some of the things that we have bought here that we found really, really helpful. Yeah. If you are curious, you can hit our link tree on Instagram. We have that on the blog already, but we're going to go into detail with it in another video.
Yeah, Linktree, our link tree, and it takes you directly to our website,
gear,
and we will have detailed list of what we use to shoot videos, all of our electronics, a list of my things, of Kathleen things, of kids things. So we're really going in depth. All the links there are affiliates, so at no extra cost to you. You can click on them, buy if you'd like, and we get a little back end.
A small little portion back.
And no extra
and
cost
no extra
to you.
cost to you.
So that will be directly on our website, and we'll link it right down below. So getting into more of the questions. So often on YouTube or on our social media, I ask you guys if you have any questions for us to tackle on the podcast. So our first question here, and this is something that we also get all the time, is any issues with bringing or registering the vehicle in Mexico or PV? A lot of people can hear that it can be very expensive, and it is very expensive to import your car. However, for temporary residency, so the residency that we have, which is a 4-year visa, you do not need to import your car.
You can just bring it in with your plates from Canada, US, wherever. And it's just something you have to do at the border to get your TIP, your temporary import permit. And then you finalize that here after you get your temporary residency at the, customs in the airport. So we found the process very easy to follow through Sonia Diaz's website. We can link that in the bottom. She's a lawyer. We actually worked with one of her lawyers to get our residency. So highly recommend her and her team. But yeah, like the temporary import permit or the TIP, we got that at the border. It's going to vary depending on how old your car is, but we spent, I think, $400 to bring in the car. And it was done in an hour, I would say, like getting that. And that was with no line, but it's not something that's overly complicated.
So you get your TIP at the border, you register your car in whichever state that you're in. So our registration office was at the airport for some reason. And then the only thing is you need Mexican insurance, which we got online. So we carry that with us in the car. Just in case we got stopped. So we carry the insurance papers. We also have our insurance from Ontario as well, so back home. And overall, it's a pretty easy process, and you don't have to actually import the car for 4 years. So you also have to get a Mexican insurance, which we bought online, and we also have our insurance from Ontario, so you need both. And then, besides that, like it's a pretty simple process. You don't have to actually import your car, so pay any taxes or import fees, which is very expensive. You only have to do that once you become a permanent residency or more, obviously. But temporary residency, it gives you 4 years of just being able to have your car with your foreign plates on.
And from what we hear, when you get permanent residency and then you actually import your car, that can be very expensive and can be very complicated, almost to the point where they recommend just buying a car here. That's something to think about and explore. We don't know the details of to import your car or to buy a car here, but that again is on Sonia Diaz's site. And you can check that out.
Yeah, usually it's not worth it. They recommend that you just buy something here and you either sell your car in the United States or Canada. There's also issues with trying to sell the car in Mexico, which I don't think is possible. Don't quote me on that. There are probably ways, but typically they recommend just you buy something locally here. Another question here is, have you experienced any interruptions in electricity since you've lived there? I read somewhere that it is common to lose power, sometimes for hours because of the heat.
We have not experienced that yet here in Puerto Vallarta and Cinco de Diciembre. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I haven't really heard too much about that. I mean, I think I've read in some Facebook groups that it's been like an hour or two. I'm not sure the reason. I think the one I read about was just due to construction that was happening nearby. But we have not, and I haven't heard too much complaints about that.
Yeah, we've heard that like electricity, water interruptions they're not common, but they do happen, especially if you live in like a very local kind of area. We're, in close to Centro, like very downtown-esque. Other places, along the hotel zone, I'm sure they have like backup generators to keep things going. So we haven't heard that it's an issue here, only speaking on Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure that, if you live more in the jungle or in the mountains, it does happen more frequently. We visited places, in the Philippines where it happens on a regular basis, but no issues here thus far.
Which is great if you are coming here to work, if you're a digital nomad and you need the internet connection. The internet has been very good with us so far, very few issues. And if the times that we didn't have internet, it was really easy to find a cafe nearby that did have the internet, just I guess depending on whoever their provider is. So it's been good.
In terms of issues with the internet, we've had maybe a few days where it was like on and off. Otherwise, it's been really good, just solid internet connection where we are. But that really does depend on where you are, because you could be like 5 kilometers away from here and have the worst internet service.
Something to consider if you are moving here and you really depend on internet for work. So make sure that where you are has good internet.
Another question, how are you receiving mail directly at your address or via virtual mail services? And what is the quality of that service? So obviously for most like banking and stuff, we do everything online, so we don't receive any physical mail. We do still have an address in Toronto as well where we receive our mail physically and we have someone pick it up. So we haven't used any mail forwarding services all the way here. We hear that it can be quite costly if you're getting stuff rerouted to Mexico. So
and it takes a long time.
So if you can just have like a PO box and have someone check it regularly. Otherwise, you can look into mail forwarding. I'm not 100% sure as to what the cost may be, but if you're receiving really important mail, it could be worth just getting it sent directly to Mexico. And that's basically it in terms of mail. Like we just have our Toronto address and then someone picks it up for us. Have you ever needed to call the policia to your residence or otherwise? Is there a 911 system or something else? And have you ever seen the policia show up other than at random traffic stops? So we've never had to call 911. We did have to look it up though to see if it was 911 here for police, for ambulance, and for fire services, and it is 911 across all of North America. In different countries, it can get quite tricky because it is different. Like it's not just 911, it'll be like 611, 715. But here, 911 across the board. We've never had to call the police.
No, we've never had any issues where, we never needed to call the police. In terms of seeing the police, this area of the city is patrolled quite often. And we were told that when we rented this place, especially if you go to the Malecon, they actually have different types of police. So one type of police that they have are the touristic police. And I guess they are there to help tourists if they have any issues, concerns, problems. I'm assuming that they maybe speak English, but you often see them patrolling the Malecon, especially when there's busier nights, when it's a holiday and there's just extra people in town, you will see them. And also a lot of like traffic police. We haven't seen them, do any big busts. I don't know if that was the question, but
any important work.
Like they're usually just kind of hanging around watching, maybe doing some traffic stuff. But
there's also, specific traffic police here. There's the regular municipal police. There are a lot of Marines everywhere because there is a base close by.
Not Marines, Army.
Army?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Army people. Soldiers. I don't know if they're patrolling, but they are kind of like everywhere. They drive around quite often. They can be intimidating because
they're the ones who are like,
there's like yeah, they're in a pickup truck and the one guy has like a huge like machine gun and stuff like that.
And they're like, yeah, they're half their faces are covered, and
they're definitely
they look tough,
the more intimidating ones. And otherwise, we haven't seen police around. For some reason, at the bottom of our street, where we do turn on the main road, for a little while there, they were stopping random people over, and I guess checking papers. I'm not sure what they were looking for, but it was like during a 2-week period where they just pull people over. We do see them pulling people over even on the main road quite often. So I don't know the reason behind that. I don't know if they're breaking any sort of law. People drive really slow here.
Yeah.
And it's like the rules of the road are loose. Like you don't have to stop for a stop sign. You just have to slow down and like roll through.
Well, I don't know if that's the rule, but that's what people do. Also, apparently you can get pulled over for not wearing a seatbelt, but you can also have like 10 people standing in the back of your truck.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the rules are with that.
There are people driving around with lawn chairs in the back of their trucks and just sitting on there. So I don't know, guys. Just follow the rules as best as you can. Wear your seatbelt. Don't do anything crazy.
I feel like if you drive like you were back in Canada, like with all like the crazy rules,
just a lot slower in speed because, there's no like main highway here in PV. So the fastest we ever go on the main road is maybe like 60 kilometers per hour.
Yeah,
whatever that is in miles. Like
it's
40.
beach vibes, guys. Yeah. Like just relax and take it easy. Don't go so fast. Yeah, and you'll be fine, I think.
And we're not partaking in like anything illegal.
Yeah. We're back in after sunset.
Yeah, so we don't get like the nightlife kind of chaos that you could probably see on the Malecon. So we don't know what that's like.
If it even exists, I don't even know.
Yeah, no issues with police here. 911. It could be important for you guys to learn, again, a little bit of Spanish so that if you do need to call 911, that you can explain just basics, like tell them at least where you are and what's going on in like basic Spanish. So do kind of, write out some key words that you may need in case of emergency and use them. Next question is, let me see here. I have a funny question. Like, what is the difference between a burrita and a burrito?
Is this a question someone asked?
Yeah, it is.
Didn't you ask me that?
Yeah, and we started frequenting this place right across the street. And then one day I got the burrito, and then another day I got the burrita. And they were like 10 pesos in difference. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, let me try the difference. And the only thing that I could see with the difference between a burrito and a burrita is that a burrito is like a classic round burrito that you cut in the middle. And the burrita is almost like a flattened version of it.
Oh, maybe they like put it in that, like a panini.
Yeah. So if you know more than us, comment down below.
What's the difference?
We might show you guys on a vlog. Order one burrito, and do a comparison. That's it. Okay. If you guys have any questions, hit the comment section below. Follow us on social media. We love to connect with you guys. We have people reaching out all the times on Instagram and Facebook. If you need any recommendations, if you're coming to PV, do let us know. And that's it for our podcast, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. If you've made it this far, we love doing these kind of just chill conversations with you guys. And we hope that you guys also like them. If you've made it this far, it's time to pick up the kids. If you've made it this far, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button, and we'll catch you in our next episode. This is our journey. More Life Diaries. Peace.